Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Sport Bite Fencing podcast. My name is Stefano Lucchetti, one of your hosts. With me today is a fantastic special guest, Miss Gabby Page, Canadian women's saber fencer. Welcome to the show, Gabby. Thank you so much for being with us.
I'm really happy to be here with you. Thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. So, Gabby, how's I'm always start with this question. I know probably you've probably gotten asked this a bunch of times, and everybody's tired of hearing it. But how is COVID been? How has preparation been, and training and fencing during COVID? How catch us up a little bit.
So it's been a real roller coaster. I think that's the best way to illustrate it. So we came back from we were doing a camp in France, and we were in the last race, the last sprint of the Olympic qualifications. There was one World Cup left to finish the qualification after a long year. And we got back home, and just everything was, well, like the whole world, everything was completely on hold. So there was no training whatsoever. At the beginning, like, we would do some at-home stuff, just keeping like some fitness. And then after that, we started integrating some Zoom trainings.
Yeah.
But to be honest, it's really not.
I hated doing Zoom stuff. Like, all that was kind of a joke. I hated it. Yeah.
I couldn't. And then the worst part is that, like, so for me at the beginning, I kind of was like, okay, we don't know when competitions are going to start again. And then you just see everybody posting on social media, them training super intense.
Yeah.
And really nervous. And I was like, oh no, am I supposed to do this too?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I still did a little bit. And then slowly, our national training center in Montreal, the Olympic Stadium, Institut National du Sport du Québec, the INS, started gradually opening up with strict protocols. And so I started going there and having lessons with my coach. And then after it started opening even more, and so other athletes, other fencers started coming, and then trainings started. We started having a training schedule for fencing and to use the gym as well.
Yeah.
So training started to be regular, started to be consistent, and everything was going great.
When was this, more or less? Like, when did it start getting normal?
I would say in September. So
Okay.
in July, August, I was just having lessons, lessons with my coach, and that was it. Like, we were going every day, sometimes twice a day, because I have access. And then in September, that's when other people started coming in. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it.
And it's been like that up till now, basically.
Yeah, except it's like the protocols are really strict. Like, we have to respect protocols. Not everybody can come in. So
do you have to wear masks while you're fencing?
No, luckily we don't have to, but everywhere around, like when we go from one point when we're in the fencing hall, we have to like wear a mask to go from, let's say, the Sabre area to the other area. We have to walk around with our mask. The coaches have to wear their mask constantly. And same thing when we're in the gym, we have to wear a mask. So there's plexiglass that separates every squat racks, every station. When you're between those plexiglasses in your little area, you can take your mask off. But once you exit that area, or whenever you're in an open area, you have to keep your mask on.
Yeah. That doesn't sound that bad, because when I was back in England for a few months at the start of the academic year, like, we had fencing was allowed and every sport was allowed, but we had to fence under our fencing mask with masks, which was terrible. Like, it was super annoying.
How is it?
Honestly, I think it's kind of, sorry to say it, but kind of dumb, just because, like, literally we're sweating. So within, like, after the first 5 touch bout, your mask is so gross. It's wet. Like, what's the point of actually doing it? It's not like, okay, like, you know, all these memes going around like fencing's the perfect COVID sport because we keep distance, we poke each other if somebody comes so close. Like because we don't really get so close. It's not like we're breathing in each other's face or tackling each other or something. So I thought it was a bit unnecessary to have a mask under our mask while we're fencing. Okay, if we're walking around and, you know, going in the gym, maybe makes sense, but while fencing, I thought it was kind of just like pointless, and it was not comfortable at all.
No, I actually wore my mask under my mask once or twice, and it's a huge difference, and it's not comfortable.
Sure.
It moves around, and I'm just trying to fix it.
Yeah. Like I kind of was like cheating. Like I didn't actually have it fully on my mask. Like I basically had it like down here. So it was like, again, it was kind of just pointless overall. But anyway, then the university stopped all sports and everything. So that's why I came to Bulgaria actually, and I've been here the last few months. Luckily here the restrictions are a little bit less. Sorry?
A little loose.
Yeah, they're a little loose, but also at the same time there is like they closed the gyms for a few weeks. Fencing had to stop for a few weeks, but now little by little we've been getting back to normal, and we don't have to be wearing masks in the fencing club and stuff like that. So it's pretty chill. It's pretty chill. Anyway, how did you react to the recent news? This was only happened like 10 days ago, less than 2 weeks, to Budapest being announced, having our last Sabre qualification before Tokyo, and you're currently holding your Canada's hopeful, and we're hoping and rooting. I'm at least doing that for you to qualify for your first Olympics. How was the news? How did you react, and how are you getting ready for Budapest?
So I think it was like a roller coaster, I'm going to say. Like, I was really excited that they had finally set a date, and then the World Cup was going to happen, and that it was official, I think, like at the beginning of this week, because last week they announced it, or 2 weeks ago they announced it, but it still wasn't official, and they said don't reserve, don't get any plane tickets, nothing. And then I think this week it was official. And so I was really excited, and then after I got nervous.
Yeah.
Because so I was injured. I got injured in our beginning of October, and I wasn't able to fence for 4 months. And I just recently started fencing 2 weeks. Actually, this is my second week of fencing, and so I was really excited, obviously. But then another part of me was really stressed, like really nervous, like, oh crap, I have to perform, but I haven't fenced. It's been a month, weeks. Anyways, I had just like so many thoughts going through my head, just racing. But in the end, I think at this moment, especially this last competition, because you never know what's going to happen, the protocols and the measures at this competition are so strict that it could easily go from a competition of 100 people to like 52 people.
Yeah.
So you never know what can happen. And at this point, I really think that this last World Cup, or the qualification, is going to be like Pan American Championships, where it's really, or even like the zonals, it's really like the person who are mentally strong and prepared are going to perform well.
Yeah.
So I just told myself, okay, well, I'll just do my best. Obviously, I'll just do my best with my training and do what I can, do what I have to do, but I will put a huge emphasis on mental training.
Yeah.
So anything that is preparing myself for the World Cup, positive discourse, like positive speaking, or even just meditation, visualization, all that stuff. So really just focusing on that.
Yeah, I'm really happy you brought that up. That, like, I actually was planning to ask you, and kind of now we can combine it into one question. So I've seen on your social media, you've been posting a lot about meditation. You just said that like that's helped you get prepared for this competition, and obviously deal with the roller coaster ride of COVID and everything. So how important, like, how have you been able, maybe throughout your career, have you changed with your mental approach to competitions? And fencing is a very, very mental sport. A lot of people don't realize that, and I've experienced it firsthand as well. Like, I've lost very stupid matches because just I was mentally out of it, or not on the right mental stage. So can you maybe shed some light into, you mentioned meditation and positive thinking, what other advices and stuff like that can you suggest to people?
So there's actually several things that I like to integrate into my training, like just not even training, just daily routine for everyday life. So it actually started a couple years ago. I just started getting really, really anxious, a lot of anxiety, and the only way that we were able to really overcome that was with visualization or even meditation. And when I say meditation, I mean more like, I usually do it before going to sleep. So, and often what I will do is really just set away like 10, even 5 minutes only before going to sleep, where it's really just me. I just breathe. I have an app. It's called Calm.
I think I've come across it. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I just breathe. I put on like a time. They give you a time, like the amount of seconds you inhale and then exhale. Yeah. And I just follow that for like 5 to 10 minutes. And really what I do in those 5 to 10 minutes is just try to be in the moment. Feel like, I like focusing on like sensations in my body, like everywhere, how it feels like when I exhale or when I inhale, or I focus on just like one body part, like the rising of the tensing of my shoulders and then the release. And I also sometimes combine it with positive words, like sometimes like just saying things like I'm confident, I got this, I'm a strong athlete, I'm a strong fencer, just things like that, just before going to sleep. And I think what that meditation, what those sessions have really helped me with is really, in fencing, is being in the moment. Like in really important situations, let's say it's like 14-14, it's really being able to stay calm and being in the moment. Yeah. And not of the score, just really thinking of what you have to do in that moment. And when I think of my best performances, I think that's the key. The biggest thing that I have to like take away is the fact, in my biggest performances ever, I was just really focused and in the moment, and like nothing around me would like penetrate my bubble. Yeah. I've had so many times, and maybe you can share as well. Like, have you ever felt where you've had a match, you could win or lose, and like you just, the second it's over, you don't even remember like what was happening. Like I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I guess it's kind of a bad thing, because you're like I even sometimes see myself like, just like I don't feel like I'm in my body. It's really weird, but like I don't feel anything. It's just like touch, match is over, win or lose, and then I'm like, whoa, what just happened? So definitely mental, like being present, being in the moment, aware, I think is super important. Oh yeah, like I actually think the same thing as you. It happened to me often, more when I was younger, like when I was a junior. Yeah. So yeah. It actually often when like I would have great performances, and then afterwards, like maybe a week later, even just the next day, they would ask, oh, what was good in your day? Like, what did you do well? I'm like, I don't know. I don't remember. I just fenced. Yeah. And for me, I'm kind of between. I don't think it's the best, especially when you get older. I don't think it's the best because you can't really pinpoint what went well and like what you can fix. It's it's like you weren't really there. You were just like on autopilot.
Yeah.
Whereas,
yeah.
Whereas like right now, like I remember having those days, but now it's really rare. And right now I'm more aware. I'm very mindful of my fencing. Like that word is really important because it's also what they use for meditation, is just being mindful. So being mindful of like you being in the moment, or so it's really just being mindful, even in fencing, mindful of like where you are, what you have to do, the action that you're going to do. Because in Sabre, especially in Sabre, like you have to, it's so, yeah, you just have to really be focused. And how do I say this? Like really consistent also.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to choose your action before, and it just happens so fast. But with meditation and just breathing and being in the present, it helps you kind of rearrange your thoughts.
Yeah.
And just it's important.
Yeah, I think definitely also it just comes with maturity. It comes with maturity, at least for me, like you said, like before when I experience maturity, like now I know when I lose why I lost. I have like I can dissect it, I can analyze it a little bit better than before when I was, younger or whatever. And when I wasn't really like fully aware of what was happening, why was it happening and stuff like that. So definitely just like I think. And that's why fencing is a really tough sport, because a lot of people get discouraged after a few bad results, or, if they have a bad season or something, they're like, well, it's over, I'm done. And they don't kind of like push through those difficult times or whatever, which we have to. And I think that's what makes like great fencers different from good fencers, is the ones that like stick through it and are consistent. And, even if they do have some bad mental patches or bad results, string of results, they work on it, they think about it and learn from it and then progress. Anyway, trying to remember, let's test your memory. What has been like your best result, or your most favorite fencing memory, or even like your favorite fencing destination? You can take that question. You can answer both of those separately or both in one.
So I'm going to have to say that my favorite place to fence, and where I have like probably the best. Oh wait, there's probably two.
Wait, can I guess? Can we actually play a game? Can I guess?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So my first guess, I'll just say Cancun. Or no?
My favorite place, like as in like the favorite place to fence?
Yeah.
You'd be surprised. No.
Okay. All right. So guess 1-0 for you. I have 0 points. All right. Second guess is at home in Canada, in Montreal, in Toronto, somewhere home.
For the result, or for like my fencing destination?
I don't know. Whichever one that makes me right.
You got a half point there.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Half point.
All right. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. I think my proudest result, I will have to say, is my bronze medal at Pan Am Games in Toronto. For a couple reasons. Number one, it was my first Pan Am Games ever. Number two, it was at home. So it was at home. My parents were there. Even my grandparents were there. They got to see me. It was amazing. They got to see me compete and like at home at a game. Yeah. And then another reason would be just also, I think it was like the kickoff was when I realized that I'm in the game. Like I'm one of the best in the Americas right now. Like, except, sometimes you always have that one result. You're like, you kind of hesitate, a little bit of doubt. You always need that one result that is like, is this good enough for you?
Yeah. It's like here I am. You're like, let's go. I'm Gabby.
So there's that, and I think that my next favorite, another result, because that was a really long time ago when I was young.
Yeah.
I think the most
my Toronto's back there. I don't know if you can see it because of the camera, but Yeah, I have it. It's probably one of my favorite medals as well. Similar to your reasons, yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's something that you have to be really proud of, like, because it's the games, you know.
Yeah.
And also, I'm going to have to say Pan Am Championships 2019, also on home territory.
Yeah.
For several reasons. Number one, it was the most important competition for us, like for the like in the Americas for Olympic qualifications. So there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And obviously, everybody wants to win. And I was able to get third place. Like I fenced amazing. And again, my family was there. My grandparents were there. My parents were there. And I remember like it was yesterday. It was really the most amazing. It was really amazing to have them there and to just live through that with me. Especially knowing since when you do a really good result at this competition,
yeah,
you can almost like how do you say,
secure your spot or something. Yeah.
So I was so happy, and then they can be there with me to share that moment. There's just something amazing in like being able to share those moments with the people you love.
Yeah.
So even like parentheses, even for example, team event or individual, if you want to know which events are my favorite, I love individual because I'm like I like him being alone. But I have to say, being in a team, and when we medaled in Peru, Lima at Pan Am Games, or even, and we didn't even care that it was bronze medal, even if we were going for like the gold. So we got bronze, and then after also at Pan Am Championships in Toronto again, when we got silver, which was a beautiful moment, we cried. It's the feeling that you get when winning with your team is just so much bigger. It's just amazing. And so those were my favorite moments, my favorite results, my best results. But now my favorite destination, I'm going to have to say two places. Number one, Seoul, and number two, Moscow.
Moscow, okay.
I know everyone's super surprised when I say Moscow, but there's just something about Moscow that is just, I love it. I love the Red Square.
Yeah.
Also, yeah. I don't know why. I always have a great time. Even like despite the fact that I'm not someone who correlates results being like, oh, I like this place because of like I did it there. Like, but I really love those places. I really do.
Yeah, that's true. Like I also love Seoul, and you know, my best result, I've only been to Seoul twice. My best was a 64, so it's not like I did some amazing like you know, there's people that like Seoul. I know some of the American fencers like Seoul's like their last one for Rio. So that was their ticket to Rio, so maybe that's why they love Seoul. I just made a 64, so it was like, all right, whatever. But Seoul is amazing. I think it's just so different than all the other fencing, like all our other destinations, which are mostly in Europe. Nothing against the European places, but they're just kind of boring. Seoul is different, and the party's fun, and it's a Grand Prix, so we get to see the girls, and the girls get to see the guys.
I just love to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see each other. Yeah. No, but I also kind of going back to like the Pan Am Games and Championship as well, like and even what you said, my favorite, I really love teams, and I think my favorite ever medal that I've won, because I've won so many in my career.
Same.
Yeah. But my favorite one, really though, and that I'll always cherish and remember, like clear as day. I remember every match, like super emotional, everything, was my first Pan Am Games bronze medal with our team in the team event. Like it was just the first Pan Am Games. Toronto was amazingly organized. The venue was super nice, much better than Lima. Sorry, but like Lima was okay, but Toronto was next level.
Yeah.
So definitely like that medal was just special, and I love team events because I just like sharing it. Like, and I feel more pumped up, like I'm more motivated. Like, yeah, of course I'm motivated individually, but I feel like I have more of like a duty and more of like pressure way to perform better, to perform, yeah, for the others, for my teammates, but also I perform better without so much like nervous pressure. I'm more like excited, happy pressure. I don't know if that's like makes sense, but yeah.
Oh, me, you see, an individual, I'm like, I pump myself up to be like excited,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna fence.
Yeah. But there's some times where you're just like mentally when you're not so motivated or whatever, or at least me, I don't know. Of course, always going to competitions to go for gold and stuff. But there's sometimes in a match or something happens where you like somebody's really beating you and you're just like, oh, okay, whatever. I just want to get out of here. Whereas for the team event, you're like, no, I need to fight for every point. Doesn't matter if we're losing because every matters. You never know what your teammate can do. We've had some crazy comebacks in Argentine history, and in all teams, you know, there's always some crazy story. So you always gotta like keep fighting at the end of the day.
There was this one time, I will never forget this. We were actually against Belarusia, and we were losing. We were down, and I was anchoring. It was like 40. I don't remember how much, but we were down by like 3 or 4. And I was bringing it up, and I think it was like 44, 43 for the Belarusians. Yeah. And I already had a yellow card. And right at the alley, the ref says "en garde près aller," and I just moved my front foot slightly over the line. I swear, I didn't even complete my step. I just moved my foot, and then I look at the ref, and he just looks at me and he's like, because it was like we're a great comeback, you know, and he's like, I'm sorry.
Really? Did he actually give you the red? No way.
I already had a yellow card, so he had to give me the red card.
Yeah, but he could have. I don't know. Ah, damn.
I will never forget that moment, but.
That honestly, that's what I hate. Like one of the things in Sabre that I really don't like is the false starting, the yellow card. Okay, I understand. You know, if there's somebody that abuses it, there's a few people on the circuit that like really take advantage and they really do it often, like they start early. Okay, that you should penalize. But if it's something super tense and nervous, we've talked about this in another interview with like Fares, that all like in a lot of the competitions, the venues, the pieces, the strips are so close together, so noisy, people are yelling, like, and just the nerves, it's normal, a little flinch or something at a key moment. And if you already have a yellow card or something, I do believe sometimes referees are a bit harsh. I understand, you know, they also like they have to, but I don't know. I feel like we have to think of something like use technology or figure out a way to like limit these false starts and stuff.
Well, you know, they were actually testing a new technology where I don't know what it does for false starts, but it does measure who started the attack first. So at the en garde près aller, it measures the attack first. So basically all the simultaneous will probably be taken away because you will always have someone who actually is physically faster.
First, yeah. That sounds interesting. Where do you know about, like, where is this happening?
Remember, actually, it was at World Championships in Budapest.
Yeah.
So testing something.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's what it's supposed to do, but I remember it was also supposed to see if there were any false starts, like what's the time that they're actually going before the
yeah. There was like, I remember there was like a light and a sound, kind of like, you know, racing or whatever, where they have lights and then like it like blinks and gives a sound or something. Yeah, they were testing. Now that you mention it, I remember it was like Zoran and the US the US coach, and there was a bunch of people gathered around, and we were all watching it like in the Sabre warm-up area.
I just miss competition so much.
I know.
Thinking about that training area, and I'm like, I can't wait.
I know. Well, hopefully, as things stand, again, it's a roller coaster. COVID has proven that, and literally everything changes from one day to the next. So hopefully, I get to see you and everybody else, all the other athletes in Budapest in March. We'll end up with this last final question, kind of a more general one. And if you have any ideas, I think it's always useful to hear like what people think. How can we improve, or how can you improve fencing in Canada? How can it maybe become more popular, a little bit more mainstream, more watchable? Have you had any thoughts or ideas?
It's
a tough one. It's a tough
one, because Canada, the sports are, soccer, hockey, and we also have football, and also we have our winter sports, and all those sports are really televised. It's just really a vicious circle, like for all sports actually, because to be able to have your sport televised and to be accessible to everybody, that everybody can be like, oh, what is this? Your federation has to pay for it, but then if your federation, it's very expensive.
Yeah.
To be able to have television or publicity or whatsoever. And so it's just a vicious circle that if there's no money, then no publicity, etc., etc. But I think in part where I think athletes, especially high performance athletes, have a big role in how do I say,
spreading the being more influencers types of stuff.
I think really high performance athletes really should get into social media, go around. Even for myself, I think that me just going into if we can go to schools more often, doing conferences, showing kids, not only also going and doing conferences for kids and just being oh, don't give up, but really going in and giving them the opportunity to try fencing, to show them where they can go, because fencing is not only a sport that's oh, it'll make you travel the world and you can do
which is true
amazing. But it's also, I feel it's a sport that really builds character and builds discipline, because it's an individual sport, but it's also a team sport. So I think I think it really has to come from the athletes, that they just get out there and just show the sport as much as they can.
Yeah, I think it's great though. We have seen, the Red Bull fencers like Carlan and Miles Watts, and they've been getting some really cool, advertisements and photo shoots and campaigns and stuff. So I think that's definitely helping. You have fencers like Daryl Homer who have sponsored major sponsors like Toyota and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think for sure social media is helping a lot with the popularizing fencing. There is a really long road ahead of us and a long way, because little by little more and more people know fencing, and it's more visible on social media. But I don't know, it's a tough question. There's no immediate solution to it, but the consensus, and I've asked this question to some of the other guests on the show, and the end of the day, we need money. We need a lot of investment. We need a lot of marketing. We need a lot of TV access. Without money, unfortunately, no sport will become popular. And that's why I think we've seen NBA and NFL and hockey and all these sports being able to continue, just because there's so much money involved.
Yeah. But that's why I say it's really a vicious circle.
Yeah.
But that's really what, like, yeah, it's just really getting fencing out there, or even any other sport, you know, just getting kids into sports, especially now during COVID. It's
Yeah.
so important to just go out and do any kind of physical activity, because you need to go outside. Like, everybody's stuck inside all day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you have to, for not only for like your physical health, but for your mental health. It's so important to be able to go outside, get fresh air, and just move around. So
Absolutely. I agree 100%. And on that note, we'll end it here. Thank you, thank you so much, Gabby, for joining us. It's been a pleasure to catch up. Hope you stay warm and everything in the Canadian winter. I know they're pretty harsh. They're pretty tough. And really looking forward to seeing you soon and competing, and best of luck with the preparation. And yeah, thanks again.
thank you. Thank you so much for having me, and best of luck to you too. I can't wait to see you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Bye for now.
Bye, Stefano. Bye.